What is going on, guys? Narcoleptic Nugget here, and we are back with another tips video for the other operator that was released with the Skull Rain DLC, and that is Capitao. Now, I apologize if I'm butchering that pronunciation, but I honestly have no idea how to say it. I remember back in the day when I was a little nugget in class, they taught us how to pronounce that little squiggly line on the A, but yeah, that's way too far back, so I'm gonna call him Cappy for the rest of the video. So, we have a new operator, Cappy. Now, if you've already had a chance to play the Skull Rain DLC, then I don't really have to tell you that Cappy is, well, he's a beast. The guy is a beast. By far, in my opinion, the most offensively equipped operator there is. So first off, we have Cappy's bread and butter, his crossbow gadget. This thing has 4 shots, 2 of which are asphyxiating bolts, which burn the oxygen around the enemy, but essentially when you see the animation, they just make fire. And the other 2 bolts are micro smoke grenades. But back to the asphyxiating bolts, or fire bolts. I'm gonna call them fire bolts. So back to the firebolts, they're comparable to Smoke's gas grenade. They don't have as big an area of effect, but they do more damage. Then for his primary weapon, he has the M249 LMG, or you can choose the M249 LMG. Okay, no, seriously, he also has an assault rifle, but let me tell you why to use the LMG. Now, when most people first see, light machine gun, they think, okay, it has a lot of bullets, but it must be all over the place, and for some reason, they didn't make it like that. This thing has, no recoil on it. I mean, obviously it has recoil, but they give you the option to put an ACOG scope on it. That should tell you something. Okay, so when you fully equip the assault rifle with all the attachments, it has a little bit less recoil than the LMG. But in my opinion, that personally doesn't justify the clip size, so you're going from 100 bullets in the LMG to 30, and also you're gaining no mobility. So both of the guns have a mobility of 50, so whether you're carrying the LMG or the assault rifle, you're going to move at the same speed. Now, I'm not saying I agree with that. I definitely think the LMG should have kind of weighed you down a little more and should make you slower. However, if that's the way that they're going to do things, then I just can't see why people would use the assault rifle over the LMG. The thing is just nuts. Then for his secondary, he has the same handgun as Caveira, but I mean, it doesn't do as much damage. It's just kind of like a regular secondary. And then you can choose from grenades or flashbangs, but I don't know why you would choose flashbangs when you're given the option of grenades. They've nerfed so many operators now and taken away their grenades. Anyways, we'll get to this later. And to finish things off, he has an armor set of 1 out of 3, so he can take the least bullets in the game. However, he has max speed, so yeah. But let me get into the tips. So personally, I think my boy Cappy is best suited for support and pushing. Given his never-ending offensive loadout, his 100 bullet clip, his 2 grenades, his 2 fire bolts, his 2 smoke bolts, this guy just can create havoc and push or keep pressure on a room just for so long. And so ideally, that's where I find Cappy to excel. And so my first tip, when you're playing with other players who you can talk to and coordinate with, I highly suggest being that guy. Be the guy who keeps offensive pressure on the objective room, because you don't want the guys camping in the room to be able to watch cameras and help out their team that way. You want them always worried that you're right there, and if they make the wrong move, you're gonna kill them. And it doesn't take much, but having that 100 bullet clip to constantly fire into the room, or every once in a while fire a smoke bolt or like a fire shot, it just keeps them on their toes and keeps them uneasy. My next tip is use the light machine gun, and I know I already said why you should use it over the assault rifle, but here are my tips. So when you're using the light machine gun, use that 100 bullet clip to your advantage. And by that I mean pre-fire corners. Whenever you're going around a corner and you think someone might be there, just pre-fire it. You have so many bullets in that clip that you're not going to run out unless you're, really not paying attention. And also use that clip for support fire. Now, I know I already mentioned that Cappy's a great support player. When you know someone is in a room or in a corner, you have that ability with the 100 bullet clip to put bullets through that wall and not have to worry about, being at the end of your clip. And I've been in so many situations where there's a guy in the corner, but I can't quite adjust to see him. So all I do is I just burst fire in the corner where he would pop out and he can't move. So either my team collapses on him while he's stuck there, or eventually he'll just get tired and try to run away, but I'm already pre-firing and I'll get a lucky headshot. Being able to do these types of things while having no recoil makes this gun so beastie. Now obviously reloading this thing takes hours, and yes, that's a downside, but my suggestion is just don't reload that often. I mean, if you still have 75 bullets in the clip, 50 bullets, think about it. That's a lot of ammo, so you don't really have to reload yet. Only reload when you're in really safe situations and when you have, that excess amount of time to do that. I'm definitely guilty of reloading too many times. Don't be me. I'm the type of guy who shoots 1 bullet and reloads just because of my OCD. Don't be that guy. Now, when it comes to using Cappy's firebolts, there's a few things you want to keep in mind. The first is don't shoot the enemy directly, and it's pretty funny when you do, and I'm guilty of it sometimes, but no. What you want to do is shoot the ground where the enemy is near and where they're going to spend the most time in. Also keep in mind that the area effect, or the ring of fire in this case, is quite small. So, when the enemy is in the corner, you don't want to aim at the enemy directly, nor do you want to aim at the corner of the room. you want to aim at the floor just outside of the enemy, kind of opposite where the corner is, if that makes sense. So when the arrow hits the ground in front of the enemy, they should be caught on the outer ring and take damage, and therefore have to move. But the only way that they can go is through the fire to get out of the corner. And honestly, the damage from the fire bolts is so high that most of the time, they won't be able to make it out of the corner alive. Now, my other use for the fire arrow is when you want to push. So I use this tactic quite frequently when I have to push by myself or when I'm the last one alive. What you want to do is usually there's multiple doorways that you have to worry about. All you do is fire arrow the one that you don't want to push and then quickly push the other one. It's not a lot of time that the fire arrow lasts, but no one's going to be able to go through it. So use the fire almost like a teammate watching your back. Now when it comes to the smoke grenades, I don't think they get enough credit from most people. A lot of people don't really use them, or they just say they're meh, but honestly these things are awesome. Now personally, I'm a player who does use a lot of smoke grenades on every operator that has them. I use them a lot with Ash or with Glass, but like these, having the ability to shoot bolts of smoke are just so helpful. And the reason for that is because smoke grenades in Rainbow Six don't really work like other games. In most games you kind of smoke the area that you want to run into on your side, and then you run through the smoke. But the way that smoke grenades work in Rainbow Six Siege is that when you're in the smoke, you can't see anything. So what you want to do is actually put the smoke closer toward the enemy, or put the enemy in the smoke itself. And that's where the ability to shoot the smoke grenade like an arrow comes in handy. So my tip when using the smoke arrows is always shoot them closer to the enemy than yourself. And if you do land a smoke right beside the enemy and they can't see anything, act quickly, rush into the room, shoot into the smoke, throw a grenade, but do it quickly. I find a lot of people underestimate the power of the smoke because they don't really use it to their advantage and they don't act quick enough. If you use the smoke grenades and you put the enemy in the smoke, run, go, do whatever, take the hostage, kill them, just act quickly. That's all I got. Oh, and this kind of ties in with smoke, but also a general rule of thumb you should always use with grenades, but always cook your grenades. So when I put someone in the smoke, I like to just cook a grenade, aka hold onto the grenade for a delayed amount of time before throwing it, so that when it gets to the enemy, it'll pretty much explode on impact and they won't have time to run. I use this a lot in combination with the smoke grenades because for some reason a lot of enemies, when they get smoked out, they kind of just like hide and they're like, oh, he can't see me, so it's not a big deal. But when you throw the smoke, I mean, feel free to cook a grenade and throw it in that smoke and likely you'll get a kill, or just fire your LMG. I mean, you have 100 bullets. This is where it all ties in and comes together. I mean, honestly guys, Cappy is stacked. Use his fire arrows, use his smoke, use his grenades, use his 100 bullets. These are all things that you can use to your advantage, and it makes him such a strong offensive operator. My final tips and more precautions are that, you can't carry breach charges as Cappy, so you have to stick with teammates a little bit more, or you can only push windows and doors. As well, I highly suggest keeping a grenade handy, especially if you're going to be the last one alive, because if they have a castle and they castle a door, you're going to need that grenade to get through it. And I already know there's going to be that one guy in the comments who's going to be like, actually you don't need a grenade to go through that. You can actually punch castle doors. It just takes a while. But you don't need a grenade. Alright, well if you're the last one alive and the enemy team lets you punch down a castle door without shooting your feet or killing you, then there's a bigger problem. Alright guys, well that's my tip guide for Capitao or Cappy. As you guys know, I think he is an extremely strong operator, a bit too strong. I feel like they're going to nerf him, probably take away his grenades and switch him out for breach charges in the future. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoy this operator because I'm having a lot of fun playing him. And once again guys, thank you for watching, and good luck sieging.
Wouldn't it be crazy? Don't you still believe?